Hello, everybody out there in Facebook and YouTube land. Welcome to yet another episode of CameraStuff Live. Well, specifically here, we're doing a bit of a gear review. So, hope you're doing splendidly well tonight. Thank you for joining. Specifically, what we are going to review tonight are the Godox range of collapsible backdrops. I have one right here behind me, as is the case with both Andrew and Jay, who are going to join us shortly. So, we're going to talk about the backdrops, how to use them, how to fold them, what they can be useful, generally speaking, in terms of your creative vision and whatnot. So we're just going to unpackage all of the details and the gritties of these collapsible backdrops in due time. So as per normal, if you are watching, tuning in, do introduce yourself in the comment section. If you have any questions to ask, do the same thing. Drop all of those questions and comments in the comment section and we'll tackle them as we prod along. So we are joined tonight by both Andrew Basson, a very popular figure already here in the South African industry. We sent him a couple of backdrops. He played around with it and it would be quite valuable to get his insights. And also JB Roman, who's going from strength to strength in the industry as well. The last time we interviewed him, in the meantime, he has progressed immensely as a photographer. So also from his point of view, it will be valuable to gain his insights as well. So, just as a reminder, if you have anything to say, by all means, drop your comments and questions in the comment section. So I think without further ado, let's bring in our guest, shall we? So first up, Jay and then Andrew. Hello there, how are you doing?
Hey, good on yourself, man.
How are you?
Doing splendidly well. So we normally have multiple guests on this show, so I'm going to try and keep it as organized as possible. So I'm going to address people one by one. So I'm going to say, hey, Jay, what's your opinion? Hey, Andrew, what's your opinion? So just to try and prevent us just talking over one another. All right, so there's a bit of a windy noise. I don't know where that may be coming from.
Let me
Sounds like a bit of
my
a...
mic. Let me mute my mic and you can see it's me.
Hello, testing 1 2 1 2. Yeah, I think it may be from your end, Andrew.
My end. How is that possible? I did change all my stuff. Let me see if I can sort it out. 1 sec. There you go. Ow, dang it. Fell over a freaking 8600.
You don't want to drop that thing.
Yeah, it's on the ground. It's busy charging, so ow.
Well, first of all, how are both of you doing, Jay? So tell me, how did you enjoy today's public holiday? What did you get up to?
Nah, nothing much. Preparing for this interview and did a little bit of editing here and there, but nothing much really. My fiance is home, so I decided today I'm just a little bit of time with her. So, no, nothing much really.
Sorry, that windy noise is quite prominent now. So, Andrew, if I can ask you just to hold your breath for 10 seconds. Let's just see if it may be that.
Wow.
No, it's disappearing. So, it's I think it's the sound of your breathing on the mic, perhaps, or something may be conflicting with something else.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll mute my mic and unmute it when I talk. Easiest.
All right. Okay. So we're going to go about that process then. But yeah, Andrew, what have you been doing today? How did you spend your public holiday? Human Rights Day.
My public holiday was spent working, not only working, but doing a whole bunch of other stuff as well, prepping for this evening, as well as we spent some more time with Fred, a new subject that I'm busy working with, to get him some clothing and a bunch of other stuff as well. So it's been a very productive, very busy day, because everybody needs to do their payroll and stuff, so I need to help them get all that stuff sorted. But it was quite a fun day actually. Had a lot of photography things and work-related things today to do, and some training sessions as well. I think I did 4 or 5 of them this afternoon already, so it's been quite busy, but it's been nice. I quite enjoyed it.
Oh, it's good to be busy. I think, Jay, just to give you yet another turn, do you want to describe how your day was? Sorry, the noises was kind of overpowering your
Okay,
voice
now.
a bit.
Yes, Andrew's breathing. No, my day was very much. Nah, my day was just very much chilled. My fiance is at home. It's a holiday, so yeah, spend a little bit of time, and obviously, I had to prepare for for this interview. The light setup and everything. But Yeah, very much chilled. Nothing much. Little bit of editing here and there. We would pull out your laptop.
Of course, yeah. It's always a bit of editing
Yeah,
here to do here and there.
yeah. So, but yeah,
Yeah, it's good news all around. So just to show the people what the backdrops look like, these be product images. So everything available on CameraStuff's website, obviously. So we do have a variety of different designs, different textures, different colors. So I'm just going to drop that in the comment section. Why not? So if you want to have a look to see what is on offer, by all means, just go to the CameraStuff website. So link provided in the comment section. So as you can see on screen, as mentioned, a whole variety of different designs, colors, some photo images as well, which you can use as a backdrop. So I think let's start off with Andrew. What was your experience like using one of these collapsible backdrops? I see you
I
have.
can actually I can actually show you how easy that is. So you see my current background. Now look at it change like just in a few seconds. Ow! Stupid 8600. There we go.
Don't trip over that.
There you go. See, that's my experience. It's been extremely awesome. It takes me a few seconds to set up a backdrop, get a portrait, move on to my next session. And I don't actually even need to take my background stand kit or anything like that with me because I can literally just pop one of these in for a little, like in like a nice little fast portrait session. I can just pop one of these in and I just let it go. It's like freaking awesome. And as you saw, it just takes a few seconds to set it up. I can change it from the one to the other one, super easy, super fast. And for me, that's been an extremely large asset for me because I like to have a fast turnaround. And a lot of the times, the people that I work with, they don't have a lot of time on hand. So I need to make my setup time as fast as possible. And as you know, I like to shoot with a mobile studio because it's just the easiest thing in the world. And just this on a mobile studio means that I can save about 10 to 15 minutes of setup time, and I can just pop this on a single stand with a clamp on it. It's good to go. So for me, it's been a huge time saving, not only a huge time saving, but with my project for this year where I'm working with a lot of homeless people as well. I want to keep a nice small package that I work with, which makes it nice and easy to move around within the areas that I normally would be in, things such as well. So having a very small thing like this and a small camera to work with, especially for the project I'm working on, dude, it's been a lifesaver because they don't get scared when you pull this thing out. Now, if I had to set up my paper backdrops and all that type of stuff when they're busy doing card guard duty or something as such, it kind of draws too much attention. But this thing, no, dude, I just pop it out, place it against the wall. They stand 1, 2, 3, we're done. We move on again. So it's been a huge time saving. And not only a huge time saving, but it's allowed me to basically work super fast with clients or subjects which don't have a lot of time or where I don't really want to draw too much attention to them.
No, very, very, very valid points. Jay, what has your experience been like?
amazing. Uh, my experience been amazing, man. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed it. I was so grateful. Because usually I used to take my two stands and that long crossbar. I think the 2.8 is the 2.8. The backdrops, the paper ones, and then I would set up for like an half an hour. And if I don't have an assistant, it's just crazy. I'd have to run around, and then with this ones, you just pop up. It's one backdrop, one stand, and then my lighting setup, and then I can start to shoot because I do a lot of corporate shoots, and this has just revolutionized everything. It's a game changer for me, definitely. And I've tested it extensively. I've used one light setup, a two light setup, a three light setup to see what works for me. In which look I would definitely go. If you can see in other pictures, or most of them is just a three light setup, but the other ones I would just turn off. Like the rim light or even the backdrop light. So, but for me, I really, really, really enjoyed it. You know, it was definitely a game changer. I'm
No,
just happy, man.
no, thank you for your insights. Yeah, so what you can see on screen would be the results Jay captured. So just to go through them one by one. Yeah, so we sent you two backdrops. But as people can see, you implemented some clever, okay, this is Andrew's photo. We'll get into that in a moment. But just, Jay, from your experience, as mentioned, we sent you 2 backdrops, but as we could see, you were capable of changing the entire look of the backdrop. So not only in terms of, right?
Yes.
Sorry, say again?
Oh no, you can finish, man. Sorry for interrupting.
No worries. Yeah. So you can change the entire look of the backdrop. So how did you go about doing that?
Most definitely. You know those. Firstly, okay, this was done in Lightroom. Andrew, by Andrew there, sitting there. You know, he gave me a mini. Was it a mini course yesterday? Yesterday we had a chat. I think for an hour or so, going through Lightroom. Because I've never used Lightroom, and then he said, "Nah, man, you should use Lightroom. Start using Lightroom." And then, okay, the other suggestion that I would also have, if you have those RGB lights, you know, I saw with the open day that you guys assisted. Yes, you can just press the button and it can have multiple colors. I think you can do that as well to save time, in post. But in Lightroom, you can definitely change because then you won't need a lot of backdrops, to complement the subject, whatever she's wearing, whatever color would be complementary. You can just go into Lightroom and change the colors. It was very, very awesome. And thanks, Andrew, man. Thanks again. So for me, that's just a game changer. You don't want to have a lot of backdrops. You can just use one and change the backdrop to whatever, just to harmonize the colors and all. So
that's a very good point, Pat, to harmonize the colors. Obviously having just one color that may clash with different outfits and whatnot, but I'm going to show you what can be done. So as mentioned, I have one of these backdrops set up already. So I have a little backdrop light going. So it's a little LED on the side. So if we switch that on and off, you just see how that dramatically changes everything. So by adding a splash of light directly on the backdrop itself, you can just enrich the colors and the texture quite easily. And also, something I'm very fond of would be that of your gels. So if you move that just in front of the light, you can also change the color of the light as well. All right, so very interesting talking point that, in terms of changing the entire dynamic of your backdrop, just use a backdrop light. You can add a splash of light directly on the backdrop. That will just enrich the colors and the texturing of the backdrop, but you can also change the color by using different gels, or as Jay mentioned as well, with your RGB lights. I see Andrew has a point to make.
He put his head down. Yeah, and so I need to unmute.
Very polite, yes.
Yeah, just need to be polite with the noise. But the biggest thing, especially when I was editing Jay's photos, the backgrounds and such, is if you use Lightroom and you just do a background selection, you just change the color tint on it or anything like that. You can change these into any color you want. And due to the fact that they are textured and such, it makes it extremely easy to do because Lightroom will be able to select your subject very, very easily because these textures, when Lightroom detects the background, works awesome. Just making it much easier for your editing and such as well, because not only with this one, but the ones Jay used and with my other one, which I moved out that way, if I just do a background selection in Lightroom, it is instant. It detects everything correctly, properly, no issues at all.
Yeah, so something that should have been mentioned, the term collapsible or folding. These backdrops can fold into a third of its size. So I think I'm going to show people a bit of a silly video that I did at CameraStuff. So I was in the studio and I danced about and did some silly things with the backdrop, but it will just give people a bit of a demonstration as to how to go about using the backdrops and also how compact and lightweight and easy for hard to use. So just give me a moment. I'm just going to go into our Instagram Reels. So it's this one. So as mentioned, it's a bit silly, so I'm asking for forgiveness beforehand. It's going to be a bit of a fun thing to look at. So at my expense, at my embarrassment, do enjoy yourself. snazzy, supple, twist, knee up, there. Well, there we go. All right, so as you can see here, me dancing on screen, doing the kicks and whatnot, you can see how compact that backdrop folds into. So a third of its size. And also when unfolding the backdrop, as you can see there, just be careful of the corners, as you know what you can see there on screen. One of the corners flipped into my crotch area, so that was a bit painful. So just be a bit mindful when you unfold the backdrop. But as you can see, there's a folding technique as well. I like to call it the taco twist and knee up, but everyone at CameraStuff has their own unique way of folding up these backdrops. So if you are watching, if you're finding it difficult to fold these things back into their bag, just refer to this video. And yeah, there's a bit of a demonstration as to how to fold that backdrop back into its bag. All right, so just to reiterate, you can see the size of the backdrop when folded, so very compact, easy to travel with. Be careful when opening it. But you can see with me dancing around with it, how lightweight and easy it is to use. And I'm going to drop the link in the comment section so you guys can refer to the video again. So yep, as mentioned, at my expense, at my embarrassment, there it was.
Oh, man.
Happened to me like twice. It sucked so much.
All right, so yeah, so as mentioned, it's very easy to travel with, very compact, and that's just kind of the point of the collapsible backdrop. The only trick behind this, and obviously the only downfall is that you can't do full-length body shots. Obviously, it doesn't drape out onto the floor, so this is only restricted to portraits and maybe three-quarter shots. But yeah, if you are in a corporate world doing corporate portraits or anything of the sort, if you're keen on doing portraits and expanding your range of backdrops, this is indeed a viable choice. So I don't know if you have any things to add on to that, Andrew?
Not only that, but especially let's say you do work in very small areas. As an example, my office, which is not my studio, is about 2.5 meters by 2 meters large. Well, actually a little bit bigger than that, but it's not that large at all. And I can pop two of these on quite easily, because if I do this, and I rotate it that way, there's the other one. There's my door. So my office is tiny, and this thing fits awesome. So let's say I need to do content creation for CameraStuff or for YouTube or anything like that, I can pop this up or pop a tiny little light, and I'm good to go. It doesn't take up a lot of floor space or anything as such, so it makes it extremely easy and versatile to just change my looks out very fast as well. So I could be busy doing a video review on something now. I can stop recording, quickly just flip out the other one in a few seconds, start recording again, and I've got a completely different look and feel to my entire shot and setup, which is awesome for content creation. Not only that, but if you fold this halfway, more or less, you can use it for product photography as well, because this does have nice fall off when you shoot at product, like small product and stuff on it. It does work really well for that as well. And the nice thing is, this isn't like a weird nylon fabric or some weird stuff like this. This is actually nice, decent fabric. This thing feels really good. It's like soft. I want this as a blanket. That's how soft it is. So even, and the big plus point due to the fabric that they use is you don't see creases on this at all. So every time I open it up, it will look exactly the same. If I store it for a few days and I take it out, there's no extra creases. It's got a large metal strip that goes all the way around, which is like this thick, about as thick as your screen, more or less, if I keep my fingers right there. So it's as big as your screen, and it goes all the way around the thing, and it's like really solid. So the build quality is really good. It stores really easily, and it doesn't get damaged when you store it like your 5-in-1 reflector, where it gets like creases and stuff on it. So these store really, really well. I normally keep this one in my boot for mobile portraits, and the other one I keep in my office just in case I need to do a studio session or something at home or something as such, and I can just pop it up and I'm good to go. But that being said, this is a very premium type of build on it. I mean, even the stitching on this, I can see the stitching is, this isn't going to come loose anytime soon unless I do something really bad, which I do plan to do at some point. But for now, they're quite well. The only thing that annoys me is that little white tab at the top of it. So let me move it up. No, wrong button. This one. It's got a tiny little white tab there in the middle. The label. Easy to fix if you just turn it the other way around when it's sorted out by itself. But other than that, the thing's freaking awesome. I love it. And the nice thing is this fabric stays consistent between all of the different ones. I have this one, the one this side as well, and the two that went to Jay as well. I have the same ones. And the build quality stays consistent between the product, which is awesome because consistency is something I like and I value. If I buy another one, I know it's going to be the same build, same quality, same good value for money because this is like 1,000 something bucks. Dude, that's way cheaper than a complete backdrop kit and like paper stuff and all that type of stuff. It's cool. I like it.
All right. So, Jay, I just want to refer back to your images here. So, just a point I want to emphasize is how you can just totally change the dynamic and colors of your backdrop. So, I assume that you use the backdrop light here. So, that's just to confirm with the audience, that's just a light that you place behind your subject aimed directly at the backdrop. Is that correct?
Yes. Correct, yes.
Okay, so you also made a mention about RGB lights. So I'm just going to quickly jump into the Instagram Reels again. You mentioned an open day that we helped out with. So this past Saturday, specifically, his name is Francois Pieter Oosthuizen. He invited us to showcase some CameraStuff gear. It's also part of the Vereniging Photographic Society. So I did make a bit of a TikTok or a reel about that. So you can see some behind the scene footage and some of the results that were captured by Francois himself as well. So let's just pop that on screen. Just to show people more or less the lighting setups that one can use when working with these backdrops. Right, so there were just a couple of examples, specifically using an RGB light, and some of them have special effects mode, so they will cycle through the different colors. So that's just something you could switch on. It will go through all of the reds, the blues, the pinks, etc., and you can just continue snapping, and you can see what effects the different colors will have on the backdrop, and you can pick your favorite, or just continue shooting and have a huge variety of different looking shots. So an RGB light here can be useful. So place behind your subject and aim at the backdrop itself. Here you can see in the video, cycling through all of those different colors, as mentioned. Just change the entire dynamic, texturing, and color of your backdrop. So you're not limited to just one color with implementing a backdrop light. Again, that is a backdrop that you place behind the subject, aim at the backdrop. You can change the entire look of your backdrop. So just to refer back to your images, Jay, I also want you to touch on the overall lighting setup that you used as well. So not just the backdrop light, but how you went about creating these shots. Let me just pop that on screen. So from start to finish, I suppose, what motivated you into creating these specific shots, and what gear did you use?
What motivated me was most of the time, these I would use them for corporate. I think maybe let's say 80% of the time, or I'm going to use them for corporate shoots. So I decided to ask a lady to come with a blazer, and then to create these. So the lighting setup that I really, really love is the curve reflector, the magic happens there. And then the strip box 35 by 160 with the honeycomb grid, and then my 165 UB, the white one. I didn't diffuse it because with diffusion, even without diffusion, it gives a nice even spread of light, not like the silver one. So we could have diffused it more, but it wasn't necessary in this case. It was what I was looking for. So, but on this one, like this is a 3 light setup. On the other one, I used only 2, and on the other one, only 1. Just to explore and see how it would look. And I really love them all. Hence, I send them, most of them, not all. But yeah, that's my
Fantastic.
go-to setup. And even, I'm sorry, man. And even,
Mhm.
it mimics the iris. The model said she really loves the eyes. I said, yeah. This is the curve reflector. It mimics the iris, and I think it's just nice. It's just beautiful. I love it.
Now, I was about to ask
So
you that question. You're kind of one step ahead of me. So you mentioned the magic of the curved reflector, and I wanted you to expand on that a little bit. But you already touched on a very interesting point. That catch light that it creates, and it just complements your iris, and maybe people can see in the eyeballs right there. That curved iris in the bottom of the the curved catch light in the bottom of the iris there. This is where the magic of the curved reflector steps in, and it is something that I personally don't leave without. That curved reflector goes with me everywhere.
yeah, once you see it, and you just can't live without it. And everybody can just create these images. I don't think it's that deep. Anyone can just, with the same setup, same everything, you can just shoot, and then you will get the similar results. And with those seamless, hence we buy the paper backdrops because of the seamlessness. You don't want, wrinkles like Andrew mentioned. There's no wrinkles. It's just pure. It's clean photography, and that's what we all strive for. So I love the whole setup. I loved everything. I enjoyed the shoot, and the model definitely, she loves these pictures. So that's what also matters at the end of the day. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
and also and yeah, I think this was 2. This was also 2. Yeah,
All right. So yeah,
2 and
just
3.
going through all of the different photos. I've probably made this point 3 or 4 times now, but you can change the entire just dynamic of that backdrop. Even if you use the same backdrop over and over again with some clever tricks, you can change the entire look and feel of the backdrops. So Andrew, this is an image that you sent me. So as what you may have noticed a little bit earlier when I showed everyone all of the backdrops. Now there are some very specific, textures that people can make use of. So here we can touch on like thematic qualities or thematic properties. So how did you go about combining this specific texture with the subject matter that you chose here? And also tell us a bit about the shoot. Now let's hear about it.
Yeah, so this shoot is part of the Unseen People project, which is where I go out and I take photos of car guards and homeless people, and I basically try and tell their story through photography as well as through written media. I should do video, but I kind of suck with video editing, so maybe at some other point. But the nice thing is, and the big reason for me liking these backdrops is for black and white photography. Because many times in the areas where I find them or shoot them or work with them, I don't have nice texture in the background. I've got like a filthy background of something as such, which is not that good because I am aiming for dramatic, but still trying to keep it a little bit fine art-ish, so I can, make this in a A0 print for my office, which I will be doing actually as well because the photo turned out really, really good. And the main reason the photo turned out that good was because I've got this textured background, which for black and white photography, for backdrops, is freaking amazing because it allows me to basically, when I was working with him, I only had about 3 centimeters behind his chair because he has trouble walking. So I can't set up an entire backdrop kit or anything like that. But I can pop this up and slip it in behind his chair, and it doesn't bother or interrupt him or make him feel scared or anything like that at all. Because it's such a small, low profile backdrop, I can just slide it in behind somebody that's sitting or something as such, and we can continue talking and communicating without this backdrop becoming a distraction for them, which is very important because I want to capture who they are. And the biggest thing with that is I don't want to make them scared of the camera, the backdrop, or anything like that. I don't want to bring them to my studio because that will intimidate them too much and it might disrupt the way that they would tell their story to me. So for the big reason why I like these backdrops and why I was extremely excited when they were in stock finally is because I was planning this type of work for months now already. But my biggest issue was getting a correct backdrop that I can use with my subjects. Now I tried the older style ones which have the weird fabric, the like single colored ones and stuff like that. But the creases and stuff really didn't work that well for what I wanted to do. So having the textured ones like these means that my black and white photography, I can make it look nice and dramatic. And if I need to swap it out, it takes a few seconds. So I don't need to get them standing next to the road as an example, waste their time, waste my time, or draw too much attention because I can simply just pop these out and they do the work for them. Because I can go and do an entire shoot with my Nikon D850 and a Godox MF12 flash. And just using this combo, I got a picture like that. Nice, easy, and fast. And that's the big thing about it because for specific projects, as an example, with the Unseen People project, where I go out to people where they often sit, but they can't really use their legs that well or things as such. So I can't really get large backgrounds to slip in or set up or waste their time doing anything like that. And it's just one of those things that for my specific use case, I'm buying 8 more of these next month and different textures. No, I'm buying more of them because I love the texture. I can swap it out easily. And the nice thing is for my black and white photography, this texture looks freaking amazing. And that is very important to me because I want to showcase these people that I work with in a very flattering way. And I don't want to, because they were sitting next to a gray wall, which would have made a nice backdrop, but it wouldn't have had the same punch or the same feel or conveyed the same emotion that he was feeling at that specific time. So because I already stalked, in quotation marks, kept an eye on him for 2 weeks before I approached him, I more or less knew what his day-to-day was like. So I managed to pick the correct backdrop to fit in with his style. Or I say style, but the way that he would be normally. So if I work for somebody else, then I can swap out to a different one. It all depends on who they are, what they do, where I find them, and things as such. And for me, these are lifesavers because these now allow me to continue doing this project because I cannot do this project with a backdrop kit and paper rolls. It's no way in hell because the setup time and the logistics of it, it's just not possible. Because as soon as I rip out my light stands and the paper backdrop, they run. And it's just the way that things work. I need to approach them in a very calm manner, and I need to approach them with minimal gear and still be able to get amazing results. So that's why this little entire setup for me, it's literally allowed me to start this project to bring more awareness to homeless people, their situations, their stories, the things as such. And it's literally only due to having access to proper backdrops, which will not fail, get creases, or do weird stuff like that, because this allows me to get lovely texture that complements my subject perfectly. So that's why I'm buying more of them because I need variation. So if I'm working with a different lady, I might want the pink one with a nice rigid texture. I think that one will work perfect for her because she's a little bit larger in body scale. So those ridges will help just flatter her body a little bit better as well. So I need to now look forward, especially next month, at adding more of these to my arsenal so that I can have all those options when I work with people. So for me, yes, it's just a single photo that I sent you, but that photo took a long time to prepare. It took about 5 hours to edit as well. So it was a labor of love, and I'm gonna do it again because I freaking can, man. Got the gear to do it.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Now, also to that point, we have a comment from the audience. Keep them coming in, guys. So from Debunk saying, these would come in handy on a location when one can't find an interesting backdrop. Yeah, so working on location, if you want that specific texturing and color, these backdrops obviously do come very in handy, but also shooting in a studio where you just have the white backdrop or the black backdrop, whatever it may be, just to spice things up a little bit, just to create the impression that you shot on location or against the wall somewhere outside. Now, these backdrops do a good job, mimicking quote unquote natural environments as well.
Yeah, and the other nice thing about them is the back side of them is still gray. So I can use one of these as a scrim with the colored side towards the sun and the gray towards my subject, and it will still give me nice soft light to work with. If I do find a nice, interesting area to work with them and I don't want to change the background, then I can use this as a large scrim to give me awesome soft light to work with. So these aren't just a single pop in the background and use them. This has more than one use, which for me is very important because I like having gear which I can use for more than just one thing. That's why I use my macro flash, like the Godox MF12, for portraits. That's why I use this not only for a background, but for a huge scrim as well. Same with all the other gear that I use. I like things that offer me more flexibility and things that offer me a flexibility not only for the background, but I can use it to complement an existing background by using it to diffuse light. That is large. That opens up a lot of work that I can do with just a single backdrop like this. So for me, it's awesome that it gives me all this flexibility. It allows me to do all these cool things. And it's awesome because I love things that have more than one use. Because as a professional, I don't just want to buy a single tool for a single job. I want something that can do more so I can get more value out of my money.
Now, it's interesting that you bring that up because the texture is not on both sides, as you made mention of. The other side is like a gray, whitish color as well. And I say interesting that you have mentioned it. I haven't actually experimented with it, just using the white side. So it'd be interesting to see what results you may get with that. Obviously, just the white backdrop, obviously. But I'll be interested to see if the texture shines through for white whatsoever. I think it would be good advice out there just to quickly give to people. Don't shoot this against the window or any backlighting because, the light may shine through the backdrop itself. So ideally place it against a darker environment, a darker backdrop, or against the wall itself. Otherwise, if you have any backlighting, then the texture may just shine through the material. All right. So, yes, Jay, do you want to say something?
Oh, no, I wanted to cover the multiple ways of, mounting them.
Yes.
That little thingy there up there that Andrew was talking about or complaining about, you can literally put a boom in there, or you can just use those the normal stands that that grip for those reflectors or whatever you use in studio. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. I just wanted to cover that.
No, it's a very, very good point. So multiple ways of mounting the backdrop itself. I can use intricate clamping systems. I personally just use the tightening knob of the light stand. So where you tighten the spigot onto the top of the light stand, I just hook that loop into there. That's what I'm doing at the moment. So you don't need an intricate or complicated holder or clamp whatsoever. You can just make use of the tightening knob. Just insert the loop over that. If you want to be fancy, by all means, you can use the boom and whatnot. If you want to place it up higher, which would be good advice, you need a stand just to elevate the backdrop to an appropriate level as well. Otherwise, you can pop it up against the wall as well. Multiple ways of skinning this cat here.
The wall works extremely well because especially with Fred, which is on screen now, he was sitting on a chair against the wall already. He can't get up. So I can't really get a stand or anything in there. But because he's sitting against the wall, I can get this in behind his chair. His chair still leans against it, but his chair doesn't damage it at all. Now, when I do put this on a light stand or something as such, I use super clamps because I like them because they just work nice for me, and I've got a shitload of them, so I like to use them. That's the thing about it. If you've got a lot of them, use them. But especially due to the fact that you can mount them so nicely, this like a really sturdy metal on the inside of it does fit into your normal backdrop kit. The little arm that you get with little clamps on it, the little plastic ones, where you can hook in your 5-in-1 normally. This still hooks into that perfectly. So it's quite nice and easy, especially with that very annoying loop that I don't like that much. It's handy. It has its uses, but I'm most likely going to take scissors and cut mine off because I'm not going to mount it like that. It's just a personal thing. The little white is distracting for me, and if it's distracting for me, I want to remove it. So I'm going to chop mine off. But they are quite nice, but I'm going to remove it.
All right. So last week at CameraStuff with our fellow staff members, some of them are single, and I decided to take some photos of them, and I made use of these backdrops as well. So I just want to show you how I went about creating these images. So this is the same backdrop, same blue backdrop, but obviously here implementing a backdrop light, I placed a red gel on the backdrop, and the mixing of blues and reds created a bit of a purple tone. And obviously just changed the entire texture and color of the backdrop as well. So just to reiterate, I used the same backdrop here. So this is one of the blue ones, but just by placing a backdrop light and also changing the gels here and there, it's going to change the entire look of it. And here you can see a result of a backdrop light versus no backdrop light. And what I like about some of these designs is that they have a natural vignette. So the corners are quite dark, so it just helps to focus the eye exactly where you want it. So normally a bit of post-processing will be required there just to create that vignette, but these backdrops, depending on which design you buy, will have that natural vignette. So as you can see here, it has that natural quote-unquote spotlight effect on the backdrop. But obviously, when using a backdrop light, you can just enhance the overall look of it as well. So just to reiterate, here you can see an example of backdrop light versus no backdrop light. And I don't know if people can see, but that's normally where you would place a backdrop light. So you can place it behind your subject. Obviously, you need to pose your model in a way to hide the light itself. Obviously, you don't want the light in a photo at all. So you just need to maneuver, pose your model in a specific way just to hide that bystander light. But yeah, you can see right there, more or less the placement of a backdrop light. And also here, played around with the backdrop lights and different gels. Yeah, so plenty of options here that one can explore. So you don't need to settle with one color, one texture at all. Just by utilizing a backdrop light, one can play around quite extensively with these backdrops.
Beautiful.
All right, let me just fix the screen here. I have a question from the audience. Jay, is that water you're drinking? Doesn't seem to go down like water.
Nah, I just put up this Prime, man. I didn't want to,
A bit of a, okay. I can show the logo and everything. You're a Prime user. Well done.
And it's got some rich taste on his side, eh?
No, man. You see now, Andrew. No, man.
So did you buy them when they were 800 Rand or 9 Rand?
Now, 9 Rand. But I had to taste it.
Now, there's a lesson in there somewhere, over perceived value and scarcity of an item. And, I think that's a talk for a different day, in terms of pricing one's photographic packages.
Actually,
yes,
now that you're talking about that specific subject, perceived value, these backdrops sell for about $1,100, $1,200 per backdrop. The value that I've gotten out of just one of these, I cannot quantify the value compared to what I paid for it, because the value that it has added to what I'm able to do is more than the value that I paid for this. And that is very important, because I love things that are good value for money, that allow me to do many things. So this thing, value for money, is really, really good, simply due to the fact that it allows me to do so many different things that the value that I paid for it and the actual perceived value that I get from it are two completely different things. Because to get something like this, I would easily pay 2 or 3 times the value for it, because I know what I can do with it. And having them at such a low price is freaking premium, because that allows me to get many of them, which I will be getting. I'm excited to get more of it. I want that pink one.
Yeah.
I really do want. I want that pink one so bad. I'm gonna buy it first.
So maybe let me quickly jump back into the website. Just give me a moment. Just going to show people the different designs. So if people are interested in knowing what we are now specifically using, so I'm using it's one of these, the last one. So it's called for dark brownish, but you can change the overall tone and hue of the backdrop. You can play around with different settings on your backdrop light or white balances. I think this is the pink one that you were referring to.
Yes, that's already in my cart. I'm buying it like tomorrow or the day after. So yes, and I'm using the floral one at the moment, because it is just such a lovely one for black and white and things as such as well. There it is, floral one. And the other one, which is sitting to my right hand side, that one is also there on your right hand side of the screen. Now, I got these two specifically for the way that their textures translate to black and white. Because in black and white, I would normally need to create a cyc wall so I can get nice random textures like this. But now that I get it in a backdrop, I'm just like buying them because I'm lazy and it saves me time and it gives me the stuff that I want.
Yeah, but a different, vast array of different options here that may complement your personal work. You have some bokeh designs here as well. So if you want to recreate an outdoor at nighttime setting, you can do that too. Jay, you were sent this green one and also the brown
Yes,
one here. Between the two, which
that's
one
my
was your
favorite.
favorite?
The olive green.
I also took a fancy to this one as well.
Yeah, but yeah, the other one was also nice, but I was more in love with the olive green. Those textures. And one can create a lot of images, especially if you also into fine art. With this, there are just multiple ways to get creative with these ones, and with generative AI out there, you can just even make it a full backdrop or whatever. The possibilities is just endless with these things. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just with headshots. So yeah, I mean, technology is there. Why not use it?
Now, you brought up a
So
very interesting point here. I think it should have been mentioned right at the beginning what the size of these backdrops are. So, specifically, they are 150 by 200 centimeters. So, you want to talk about lens choices. So, obviously, if you use a wide angle lens, you may get the size of the backdrop in the shot itself. So, a telephoto lens would be useful here just to constrain the field of view a little bit. But as mentioned by Jay, you can make use of generative AI just to expand the backdrop itself as well. So, from your point of view, Jay, what lens did you use in creating your shots?
my go-to lens. I always use my 16 to 55, f2.8, the Fuji film one. I'd say that's my best lens at this moment. The colors it renders is it's more natural, and it's just it's just sharp, and the range, the 16 to 55. I just love that lens in overall, and it's waterproof, but that's my go-to lens, for serious work or corporate work. People like to look as they look in real time. So I try to preserve that as much as possible. And so that lens gives me that, and never fails. It's consistent. I love that lens. The character of that lens, I love it. I'll never sell that lens, basically.
Good answer. Andrew, from your side, what lens did you use? And also your experience with the size of the backdrop itself. Was it sufficient? Was it big enough? What was your
Yeah,
experience like?
the size is, as many a lady would say, just the right size. It fits very well, especially if my subject is seated, which is what my main aim is. I don't want to shoot full bodies. I want to do seated portraits because many of the subjects that I work with will be seated. If somebody is standing, I'll just put it on a light stand. That's just how easy it is because it is such a light product as well. My lens choice is the Nikon 24 to 120 f4 lens. I actually sent back the Nikon 24 to 70 f2 lens, 2.8 lens, so I could get that one. Simply due to the fact that it is a very sharp lens, and it works really good on my Nikon body, and it gives me a very nice versatile range to work with. And the versatile range is very important for what I'm doing, because if I'm sitting right next to somebody talking to them and I see a photo pop up, I want to grab it now. I don't want to be messing around with lenses. I just pick it up, my zoom is correct, and I just take a photo with it. And the nice thing is, especially with the 24 to 120 lens, if I'm in continuous autofocus with face tracking in the 3D focus mode on the Nikon D850, I just hold down my finger on the shutter, off press it, and my subject will always be sharp. And that is very important because with the f2.8 lens, due to the shallow depth of field, even at f4, it was a little bit more shallow than the dedicated f4 lens, oddly enough, I would miss focus more times. It would hunt a little bit more. But with 24 to 120, no issues at all. So that is my go-to lens for it. Then apart from that, my backup lens to that is a 100mm f2 Zeiss lens from 1980, because that thing's got character out the backside. It is just one of those things, but it is living in a dry cabinet now because that's the way you store it. It comes from a museum, so but it does give me a different type of photo. But I'm currently just waiting for my come back from the Miss S18 pageant thingy, and then we're going to be playing with that lens as well. But that's also one of the reasons why I got the Nikon D850, because that lens is basically made for that specific type of camera. I bought the lens first, and then I found the camera to fit on the damn thing, and now it works fine. But for all my street work and things like that, I will use the 24 to 120 f4, most times at f4 or at f7.1. Because I don't really need shallow depth of field, and if I really do need that, I'll just zoom into 120 and stand closer. So I don't know. It's just the way that things work. But the versatility of that lens, and especially for what I've been using it so far, it's amazing. I love it. I could use other lenses. I do have nice, expensive lenses that I could use, but I don't want to carry something big. I want to carry something nice, compact, that doesn't draw attention to me, especially when I'm working on street with homeless people, because if they see you carrying this big thing, they will stab you. and speaking from experience, from being stabbed, it's not nice.
Oh gosh, that sounds like quite a story. All right, so I think what we can do here is just quickly jump into the comments. Let's start off with, I want to have one from SAB Photography. Thank you for joining. And we have a couple of ones alluding to your breathing, which disappeared. Got the fix there sorted, all good.
Apologies, I'm very unfit, so my breathing is normally very heavy.
No, I think it's just a sensitive mic there. Just capturing the breathing and whatnot. So JB the legend, man, and Andrew is a pro in his craft. Thank you for the compliments. Keep them coming in. So here's a good point pertaining to the backdrops. JB and Andrew's images they created with their backdrops are awesome, with nice color and harmony, which is something, as we spoke about. Picking the right type of backdrop with the right subject matter, making sure everything complements each other very well in the terms of wardrobe and style and mood and themes, etc. And it gives you opportunities to play around with different combinations of things as opposed to just the standard white backdrop. So from Fabian, how's it, guys? Watching from George. Asters, thank you for joining. Marcus, I love the photo.
Wait, one sec. Fabian, I'm seeing him tomorrow with his friend because they're buying these from me.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to spend some time together, have a coffee, chill out a little bit. I do enjoy Fabian. He's quite an awesome dude. When he bought his strobe as well, he came to my place. We did a cool little session. I've actually found him at the courier place picking up his strobe, and I told him, no, come to my place. I'll sort you out this evening. And we gave him some training and stuff like that. He's an awesome dude. I'm also keeping a close eye on his career moving forward. Because he does have a lot of potential, just a little bit rough around the edges.
Oh, very, very keen to see your work in the future, Fabian. Thank you for joining in. From Grand Epic Photography, beautiful shots. Scotia, wonderful, Mr. Andrew. So sorry if I've repeated some of these comments. These backdrops will be great for my style of photography. I'm in love with the backdrop Andrew is using now, so that being the floral pattern. And I'm in love with the Rusty, definitely for future fine art I want to do. And hello, guys, from Suspension City here. Where is Suspension City, Pierre? I'm not in on a joke here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, thank you so much for all of the comments. Keep on tuning in. So I don't know if you guys have any points to round off with. So anything I may not have covered that you wanted to bring up. I don't know if you have anything else to add to the conversation.
Jay can go first, and I shall follow Jay.
No, I have nothing to add. Basically, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for letting me test those backdrops. It was, something. It was a very nice project for me, and also there was a guy that commented, Henry Vensatius Kharabe, yeah. Yes.
But was it this one?
No. It was the other one about the colors.
This one.
Yes, awesome and nice color harmony. And then I remember you also interviewed him, and you guys were talking about the color wheel. So, and I had to go and look at how colors harmonize, the color wheel, and everything. So, yeah, shout out, man. Yeah, just wanted to give him a shout out, and shout out to Fabian and them, and thank you for everybody that tuned in tonight, man. It's appreciated, and thank you, CameraStuff, and thank you, Andrew. Yeah, man, to future photography, um, that's it from
Definitely.
my side.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you
From
so
my
much,
side,
Bro.
some
Yes.
final notes from my side is that, I mean, you don't need to spend a few $1,000s to have an awesome backdrop. You can just buy one of these and use it, and then save up some money, do some work, buy more of them, buy a backdrop kit, do stuff like that. And I think it should do quite well, especially for somebody that's on a very tight budget and you still want to have a nice creative backdrop to work with for your clients, still produce high quality work and such as well, but you just need that tiny little bit of extra for the backdrop. Then I would strongly advise getting one of these instead of an entire backdrop kit with a paper roll and things like that, because this will allow you to be more flexible, more mobile, which will be more fun. And if you're having fun, you're going to enjoy your photography and work much more compared to sitting 10, 20 minutes freaking setting up paper rolls and tape and all that type of stuff as well. So it's important to remember that, yes, you can go out and buy these awesome paper rolls. I own them. Mine is like sitting right here. If I go that way, see my corner of the paper. I own them, and I leave them at home when I take this with me. So that says a lot about a product when I would leave my premium stuff at home, because that paper backdrop was like expensive. Got a really good one. But I would leave that at home and take this with me to a client, simply because it's small, it's mobile, it allows me to do so many cool creative things with it. And I can fit like 10 of these in my boot easily and still put all my gear in there without any problems. And for me, that is cool, because that means that I can now save a lot of money. I don't need to buy a specific paper backdrop with this texture. I don't think they even make them. So it's cool because that allows me to do so many nice and awesome things. And that is very nice, because even if I was just starting out photography from scratch and I just had a camera and a lens and I needed something to up my game a little bit, I would just grab one of these, and that'll be awesome. I do think CameraStuff needs to make a bundle where you get one of these, a light stand and a clamp, because I think having everything together would just be nice and easy, because that way you just buy one bundle, you've got everything you need. Because that just means that there's not a light stand with a clamp, and you can do basically standing half body portraits easily. And just setting this up in the corner with good light, take a photo, rotate somebody out, brings next person in, take a photo, rotate them out, keep going, keep going. You can do high volume super, super easy. So you take your one photo of the person. Oh shit, I need to change my background. Oh cool, I just pop another one in. Few seconds, take another photo. So within 5 minutes, as an example, if I need to do 60 people in 1 hour, I could take 5 minutes per person and I can do 4 different backdrop looks using these, because I can just flip them out of the way like this, nice and easy and fast. And I can just rotate them out, take my photos, do high volume very fast. So for high volume shooting, these stuff is going to be freaking awesome, because high volume normally means that you need to do a lot of photos really fast, a lot of random people and stuff. And the nice thing is, just by flipping these out, you can take that 5 minutes you would normally spend with somebody and not only give them good photos, but give them good variation in photos, which is important, because you don't just want static people standing like this the entire time with the same backdrop over and over and over. Nah, stuff that, man. Swap out these ones. They're cheap. Well, very cheap compared to what you get. I mean, hell, it's like $1,100. That's like giving away the kind of prices to me, I think.
All right. Thank you for your insights, Andrew. Just from Pierre here, just to confirm, it was Spring Suspension City. That makes a lot of sense. All right. So let's see here from Henny. Thank you very much, bro. And from PS here, JB, my legend, also from Kronstadt. Thank you so much to the two of you. Thank you for everybody tuning in, all of those living in Facebook and YouTube land tonight. I hope you enjoyed your holiday today. It's back to work for most of us for Friday. But you know where to shop if you want to buy any of these backdrops. Just go to the CameraStuff website or visit us in store. happy to help you out. And also, we will take on the recommendation of creating a bundle as well. I'll get to that first thing in the morning as well. Yeah, so with a stand and a clamp, definitely help you out in terms of a bundle. But yeah, just to again to say thank you to Jay and thank you to Andrew. It was a spectacular live session, jumping into the details, the nitty-gritties, the uses of the Godox collapsible folding backdrops. Again, from my side, thank you so much. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it from our side. So to everybody watching out there, hope you have a pleasant night further and good night. Cheerios.
Cool.
Bye-bye. See you next time.
Ciao, ciao, dudes.